I'm Scott Happer. I'm a volunteer at Borders in Recovery. I've been a volunteer for just under a year, maybe about 9-10 months. I'd say it needs renewed, and actually you probably need more measures in place to try and curb the alcohol problem in Scotland specifically. I think that we're in a crisis just now, an alcohol and a substance abuse crisis, not just alcohol, drugs as well. And not only that, but the NHS is in crisis, and alcohol impacts greatly on the NHS. We see that week in, week out, especially weekends, the amount of hospital admissions and stuff like that. And the fact that a lot of these things could be avoided if we could cut down the drinking. And one way to do that is to cut down the available alcohol that's sold at such low prices, because there's a certain demographic that'll cut out. I mean, if you've only got so much money, it's likely to put you off, if you're having to put your pocket in for a bit more, I mean, over the years, I've noticed, specifically cider, I'd say, was the main one, cheap cider. When I was about 14 years old, there was people my age and my age group would go up to the parks and stuff and drink alcohol, and the go-to drink would often be cider. I think it was two bottles of Merrydown and sometimes get for £4. I think it was £1. £2, sorry, cut that out.
So you go up to the park?
Yeah, we'd go up to the park and we'd drink alcohol and stuff like that. And the only way we could do that was by spending our pocket money. Back then, you didn't get a lot of pocket money, maybe £3-4, something. Probably the most would be a fiver. And you could buy a bottle of cider that you got you drunk for £2. That was Merrydown back then. And then growing up and coming into adulthood, I noticed that these new bottles suddenly appeared in the shops and supermarkets and stuff, and it was something called White Star. It was cheap, nasty stuff, it was like a litre and a half, 7.5%, but it gave you a good whack, if you drank one of them. If you drank two, that was your night, I think it was about, I'm sure it was only like £1 odds, for that 1.5 litre. And it's like, again, that's even more than the Merrydown was previously. So you're maybe spending £2-3 on the cider and getting pretty a bad way with it, And a lot of my friends, well, not a lot of my friends, but some of my friends were admitted to hospital because of alcohol poisoning or being found drunk and capable and stuff like that. They were taken to hospital, And that would never have happened if the alcohol wasn't so readily available at such a cheap price. I've noticed that you can't get them anymore because I think basically they're priced out of the market, people just aren't going to pay that price for it. It tasted horrible. It was like paint stripper. It tasted horrendous, and people aren't going to pay that amount of money on something that tastes like that. It was basically when you're a teenager, there's this horrible trend, and it's almost like it's ingrained in teenagers that you go out to get drunk. Most people as adults go out for a good time and have a few drinks to loosen up and have a laugh, and it adds to your night. But as a teenager, we found that it was getting as drunk as possible. Downing it as fast as you could and try to finish your drink before your pal, and this horrible toxic kind of behaviour, that was associated with alcohol. And so these cheap drinks and stuff, that was targeted for people that wanted to get drunk because it was cheap and it was powerful. And these have disappeared off the shelves, but they have been replaced by other things like Dragon Soup, Loco, I think is another one I've seen in the cans, and it just evolves. It's like the goalposts can shift all the time, and it's like cat and mouse trying to chase the problem, because it always pops up in a different form. From my experience, certainly as a child, let's get this straight. If you're a seasoned alcoholic, the price increase isn't going to change. You're going to do anything to get the alcohol. It's a choice between buying food for the day or going without because the alcohol is more expensive, then the alcoholic's going to do that. But I think at a grassroots level, I think what you're talking about is that decision. If we can put off a youngster from making that decision to go out and get absolutely leathered, or just say, what, I can't afford that, I'm going to leave it. That could be the difference between the future of them being an alcoholic and not. Because it stops that trend of going out and getting drunk and creating the problem, really. Yeah, I'd say take the blinkers off. Look at the country. Look at the state we're in. because of alcohol and drugs and stuff like that. I mean, when you're sitting in the Houses of Parliament or whatever, it's like you're not seeing the problem on the streets. And go down to the soup kitchens, go to the hostels, go about, I don't know, downtown in Glasgow on a Saturday night, and you can see the deprivation and the problems that are caused by alcohol. Go to the hospitals at the weekend and see the admissions, people come in with bandages and blood pouring down them. It's not just alcohol, it's the violence that comes with alcohol, with domestic abuse, it comes with sex charges, and it's all these things that come with alcohol. It's not just the alcoholism itself, it's all the problems that come with that as well. And I think if you look at it as a whole and you can see other things, then, it's apparent. It's hard not to see, really.